This is a brief history of Cuba. (1492–1888). Christopher Columbus arrives in Cuba in 1492 and claims it for Spain. 16th–19th century. Cuba becomes into a significant sugar producer, largely using slave labor from Africa. During Spanish colonial control, the island's economy thrives. Wars of Independence, 1868–1898. The 10 Years' War, 1868–1878. The first significant Cuban uprising against Spanish control ends in failure. 1895–1898. Under the leadership of individuals like José Martí, the Cuban War of Independence picks up steam. Spanish-American War and American influence, 1898–1959. In 1898, the war between Spain and the United States results in the Treaty of Paris, which gives the United States possession of Cuba. 1902, the Platt Amendment, which permits American interference in Cuban politics, grants Cuba official independence, but keeps it heavily influenced by the United States. Revolutionary period, 1953–1959. The Cuban Revolution began in 1953 with the unsuccessful attack on the Moncada Barracks by Fidel Castro and his brother Raúl. (1959). A socialist state is established when Fidel Castro's revolutionary troops topple the Batista government. Post-revolutionary period, 1959. 1961. Castro's authority is cemented by the abortive Bay of Pigs invasion, which was supported by the United States.
In This Week in Military History, we explore the Bay of Pigs Fiasco, which was the April 17, 1961 invasion of the southern coast of Cuba by U.S.-supported Cuban exiles. In 1959, Fidel Castro came to power in Cuba via an armed revolt that overthrew corrupt President Fulgencio Batista. The U.S. government distrusted Fidel Castro and disapproved of his increasingly close relationship with the Soviet Union. The Central Intelligence Agency developed a plan during President Dwight D. Eisenhower's administration to train Cuban exiles for an invasion of their homeland in hope of sparking a wider rebellion. Training of the Cuban force began, and by November 1960, the Cuban recruits had been trained for an assault landing and guerrilla warfare. With the change of administrations, President John F. Kennedy was briefed on the invasion plan and authorized it in February 1961. Unfortunately, information about this plan was so tightly held in the administration that it was not properly vetted by military officials. Using World War II bombers painted to look like Cuban Air Force planes, 8 planes left Nicaragua to bomb Cuban airfields on April 15, 1961. However, these aircraft missed many of their targets, leaving the Cuban Air Force intact. 2 days later, the exiles landed at the beaches along the Bay of Pigs on the southern coast of Cuba. The Cuban exiles, who made up what was named Brigade 2506, came under heavy fire, and their assault was hampered by bad weather and the lack of U.S. air support. Fidel Castro ordered 20,000 Cuban troops to the area, which soon overwhelmed the invaders. Many exiles were captured, 100 were killed, and a few were able to escape back to the sea. For 20 months, the United States government negotiated for the release of prisoners with Cuba and eventually ransomed them with agricultural equipment. The first prisoners were released on December 23, 1962. The failed invasion haunted the Kennedy administration as tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union continued to be strained. Many historians feel that
1962. The world is on the verge of nuclear war due to the Cuban Missile Crisis. 1960s, 1980s. Cuba receives military and economic help for its alliance with the Soviet Union. 1991. Cuba experiences the Special Period, a period of extreme economic hardship brought on by the fall of the Soviet Union.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Oh, it's the general on there.
I'll put it on. Yes, sir. Ready?
Hello? General, how are you? Oh, fine. General, I just wanted to bring you up to date on this matter because I know of your concern about it. We got, Friday night, got a message from Khrushchev, which said that he would withdraw these missiles and technicians and so on, providing we did not plan to invade Cuba. We then got a message, that public one the next morning, in which he said he would do that if we withdrew our missiles from Turkey. We then, as you know, issued a statement that we couldn't get into that deal. So we then got this message this morning. So we now have to wait to see how it unfolds, and there's a good deal of complexities to it. If the withdrawal of these missiles, technicians, and the cessation of subversive activity by them, well, we just have to set up satisfactory procedures to determine whether these actions will be carried out. So I would think that if we can do that, we'll find our interests advanced, even though it may be only one more chapter in a rather long story as far as Cuba is concerned.
Of course, but Mr. President, does he put any conditions in whatsoever in that?
No, except that we're not going to invade Cuba.
Yes.
That's the only one we've got now. But we don't plan to invade Cuba under these conditions anyway.
Cuba's current situation, political environment. The Communist Party of Cuba maintains its one-party socialist regime in Cuba. In 2018, Miguel Díaz-Canel assumed the presidency, carrying on Raúl Castro's legacy. Economic situation. Cuba continues to experience economic difficulties, such as a lack of products, restricted access to foreign markets because of the embargo imposed by the United States, and the effect of COVID-19 on travel. The goals of recent economic changes are to boost private industry and draw in foreign capital. Social and cultural aspects. Despite its economic struggles, Cuba has a rich cultural history that includes internationally recognized dance, music, and visual arts. All citizens continue to have access to the healthcare and education systems, which are remnants of the revolution. Cuba's economy heavily depends on tourism, which is attracted by the country's beaches, historical attractions, and cultural offerings. There have been ups and downs in the thawing of U.S.-Cuba relations, including under President Obama and the tightening of relations under President Trump. In summary, Cuba Then and Now highlights the island's tenacity and enduring character by providing an insight into its complicated past and dynamic present. Stay tuned for additional in-depth examinations of Cuba's remarkable narrative, and subscribe to discover more about the country's progress.